primary ignition.
Welcome to Unlimited Power. My name is D-Rod, and here's my Twilight of the Republic pre-release guide for Obi Wan Kenobi. Now, this is the third set for Star Wars Unlimited card game, and I'm really excited to look at Obi-Wan as a leader and a leader unit. Now, the cards I'm going to suggest that you try out with him are going to be cards that I think are very fitting for what he does and can be a good foundation. But there are a lot of cards that are really great for Obi Wan Kenobi that I may not mention. Some of those are going to be some legendaries and some rares, mostly because those cards are going to be harder to obtain. In your pre-release kit, you're only going to get 6 booster packs. So we want to focus on cards that you're more likely going to see a few of to help really build around your deck. So let's go ahead and look at Obi-Wan as a leader and a leader unit and what he's working with and what we're building around. As a leader, Obi-Wan has the action to heal 1 damage from a unit. I like this. It's not too conditional because I believe you can do this even if you have no damage to heal. If that's true, judges watching, please write it down, comment, and let me know. But if it's true, this kind of gives you an extra action to play around and let's see what your opponent does. I like things like that. But healing one of your units can be effective, especially if they're Sentinel units or units that have maybe 3 or more health. In this current set, there's going to be a lot of low-cost units out there because of the token creations. Things like battle droids are 1/1s and clone troopers are 2/2s. So if you're playing things that have higher than 3 health, you're going to have the ability to heal them and keep them in play a little bit longer, thanks to Obi-Wan. Now, as an epic action, you can deploy Obi-Wan when you have 6 or more resources, which means you can do this as early as turn 5. When he's deployed, he is a 4/7 unit and has the Sentinel ability. So Obi-Wan is going to come into play and he's going to want to take some damage. Be mindful of that. Make sure the turn he's in play is when you really want him to hit, because he may not stay in play that long depending on how many units your opponent has and how many they've already activated. Now, on attack, you can heal 1 damage from a unit, and if you do, deal 1 damage to a different unit. This is great because it can essentially continue what Obi-Wan was doing with a different trigger, but it may kill some of the units your opponent have in play. And that's going to be important here. If you are strengthening your board, you want to make sure you're also weakening your opponents. You're kind of playing this really interesting game of keeping some stuff in play longer while keeping your opponent behind. Let's take a look at cards within Obi-Wan's aspects and see what works well here for him that I'm going to suggest. The first card is going to be Kashyyyk Defenders, a 2-cost 0/5 Wookiee with grit, meaning the more damage he has on him is the higher his power level becomes. So at most, he can become a 4/5 unit that you played for 2. I enjoy stuff like that. When he is played, he can heal up to 2 damage from another unit and deal that much damage to himself, making himself a 2/5 immediately in play. Healing one of your units can be effective, especially if they have Sentinel abilities, or you're just trying to keep them alive thanks to Obi-Wan. Either way, I think the Defender is a great 2-drop choice. Hello There is going to be one of the new events that I think is solid and you can't avoid because it's Obi-Wan and you have to stick with the classic line from Revenge of the Sith, as well as it's a great meme. This 3-cost event says choose a unit that entered play this phase. It gets -4 for the phase. So you hopefully are killing them. This is a great one, or you're going to lower their health and finish them off. I just think it's a solid card. Conditional or not, it may come in handy pretty often. Next is the Outspoken Representative, a 2-cost Republic official that's a 0/5. Now, if you control another Republic unit, just one, this unit's going to gain Sentinel. More than likely, you're going to be playing a couple Republic units like clones, and the Representative gives you some good stability early on. You can definitely heal it because it's sitting at that 3 health, so troopers and battle droids cannot kill it that quickly. And when it is defeated, it gives you another clone trooper token. So keep this guy alive for a couple of turns. Make sure you have a Republic in play, just so you can trigger the Sentinel ability, and hopefully it buys you the time you need. In the Vigilance aspect, I really wanted to make Daughter of Dathomir a key card here because it's a 4-cost 3/5. So on the stats, it's decent, but while this unit is undamaged, it gains Restore too. With Obi-Wan's ability allowing you to heal, you may be able to heal your base a couple of times with the Daughter of Dathomir. It's also going to be a target for your opponent, which I think is always great if it pulls them away from some other stuff you're doing. Next is going to be the Vanquish card. An event we saw in set 1, it has the ability to defeat any non-leader unit, and so it's going to be great to use against your opponent in case they're exploiting something huge or just playing something without the exploit cost that you need to have an answer for. Next is going to be the Duchess Champion, a 4-cost double blue card here. It is a 1/8 that says when your opponent controls 3 or more units, this unit gains Sentinel. It's a super strong Sentinel unit, and there's a chance your opponent may have a few more units in play. So why not try something like that? And for the command aspect, I'm going to recommend Clone Commander Cody. If you're going to play Obi-Wan, you got to play his boy Cody here. And Cody is one of my favorite cards within this set. He is a 5-cost 4/4 with Overwhelm. So Overwhelm means that when they are attacking, any damage that exceeds your opponent's health will go straight to the opponent's base. So I really enjoy this. You're clearing out units, you're hitting the opponent's base, you're keeping pressure, and not only that, he has the Coordinate ability. Now, Coordinate says each other friendly unit gets +1/+1 and gains Overwhelm. And you trigger this if you control 3 or more units. Now, it does count himself as one of those units. So you can make all your clones, all your units a little bit stronger, as well as have them do more damage to your opponent, especially if they're playing like a more defensive route or they have a lot of units. You now don't have to necessarily choose what you need to hit because you know you can do damage to the unit and a base, which I think is great. Next is an event from set 2 that we just saw released 4 months ago, Take Captive. Now, it may seem weird to see this event return, but it really is a good card, especially with this exploit mechanic in the game. Exploit says you may essentially lower the cost of a card that has exploit on it by sacrificing units in play. This allows you to put in bigger units earlier than you would have by trading them for other units. So I think Take Captive is good in early game and late game. If your opponent goes too wide just to put out a big unit, you can just take it away and throw it on one of your defenders with Obi-Wan to heal. All right? Sounds great to me. So, in late game, you can do the same thing of getting rid of a big unit and your opponent not having any other big bombs to drop in a limited format like this. Next is the Advanced Recon Commando, a 3-cost unit that's a 4/3 with Overwhelm. Just stat wise, this is a great clone trooper. Not much else to say here, just great. Now, for the aggression aspect, it's always hard to look at cards that within this color because I always think there are just some solid choices you have to pick. And these are 3 I really struggle to get away from, but let me tell you why. The first one is the Heavy Persuader tank. It's not Republic, it's not a trooper, but it's a 7-cost unit with Exploit 2. It's a 6/5. I would not pay 7 for a 6/5, even with a win plate ability, unless it was something insane. This one is not insane because it's a common. But would I exploit this card to pay 5 for a 6/5? Sure. I'd rather pay 3 for a 6/5, which is where I think it's a super ideal. Pay 3 for a 6/5 that says when played, you deal 2 damage to a ground unit. Yeah, you can kill one of your opponent's units, and you have a 6/5 in play 4 turns early. Sounds great to me. If I had to pay 5 for this, there's still value, but it's not valuable paying 7. Next is going to be Heavy, a 4-cost 4/4 ground unit that says when you have Coordinate online, you have Raid 2, so it can hit for 6 when it does attack. Now, with all these trooper tokens out there, it's good to have answers on how to deal with your opponent going too wide. With exploit being a thing, it's all about keeping your opponent from taking advantage of having too many units. It's definitely a different type of game in a limited format because you're trying to make sure your opponent's not taking advantage of coordinate or exploit. So any way that you can deal mass amounts of damage to your opponent is going to be important. And Heavy says when they're defeated, you can deal 1 damage to each enemy ground unit. So Heavy hits hard. Heavy can die and reward you by killing a bunch of battle droids or weakening a bunch of clone troopers. So I really like cards like Heavy. It helps us move over to a card like Grenade Strike. Now, Grenade Strike is one of the limited events here that only hits 2 units, but I think that's still good at its cost. For 2, you can deal 2 damage to a unit and 1 damage to another unit in the same arena. So you could necessarily kill a Clone Trooper token and a Battle Droid token. I think this card is good. There are some other options in aggression to help you with removal, but these are the 3 I do want to pinpoint because I just think they're ones you don't want to miss in your card pool. In the cunning aspect, clear the field is exactly what I'm talking about with a lot of those aggression cards. Clear the field says choose a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less, return it, and each enemy non-leader unit with the same name as it to their owner's hands. You say Clone Trooper from the token, you name that token title. Well, it costs 3 or less because the value is 0. When tokens go to their hand, they would just be removed because they cannot exist there, which I think is really neat. So I think Clear the Field is a great card. Next is going to be Hidden Sharpshooter. This is a 4-cost, 4/3 unit with Ambush. This card is just a solid one, and a 3 health is a good, decent card. You can play this early, you can play this late. Play it early, let it hit a Clone Trooper, Obi-Wan heals it. Let it heal a Battle Droid, Obi-Wan heals it, and you're full health. It does something when it enters play. You can take advantage of it having the Republic and clone traits. There's a lot you can do here. Next is Plo Koon. 5 cost with Ambush. We love Ambush because we want to heal anyway. It's a 3/6 ambusher, but it has Coordinate. So if you have 2 units in play when you play Plo Koon, Coordinate is online, and now he hits for 6. 6 can do a lot of damage to a lot of leaders in this set and be a real big threat. So he's a great card to hold on to when you're doing your setup. And we get to the final hero aspects here. Keeping it simple for you. There's not a lot of cards in the hero set, but Clone Troopers, and Clone Troopers are what I'm going to be suggesting for you. Don't skip out on these just because they're vanilla cards. The 2-drop Clone Trooper is a 3/2. The 3-drop Clone Trooper is a 3/2 with Ambush, and you can pay 4 to get 2 more Clone Trooper tokens. These things will not only help you with exploit, but can give you a little bit more variety of units swinging into your opponent, and hopefully making a way for someone like Obi-Wan to stay and play a little bit longer. And lastly is our non-aspect cards. With having this healing ability, I do want to suggest Holdout Blaster. Most leaders, I wouldn't play this card just because of a lot of upgrades don't last very long, especially ones that don't upgrade your health. But Obi-Wan may buy you the time you need, and that extra 1 damage on a Sentinel unit can make a big difference of it staying alive longer with your opponents constantly hitting it. So I think the Holdout Blaster is worth considering if you have strong Sentinel. Volunteer Soldier is just a must in this format with so many trooper tokens around. You're going to pay 2 for a 3/3, a card that hits for 3 because it has raid 1 and 3 health. If you're paying 3 for this card, it's because you really need something in play, but essentially it should only cost you 2. Lastly is Private Manufacturing. Draw 2 cards, and if you control no token units, put 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck in any order. As long as you have more than 2 cards in your hand, this is a good card. Card advantage matters in this game, and in this format, you'll probably have some tokens, so you won't have to shuffle any on the bottom of your deck in any order. Ultimately, I'm really excited for getting more new cards. I love blue cards in the set, and I think Obi-Wan offers a lot of unique things. Again, there's a lot of cards that are going to work well with Obi, cards that can heal, cards with Sentinel, just a lot of stuff. But these are the cards that I think can be a really strong foundation for what you want to do with Obi-Wan. Let me know in the comments below what you ended up playing at your local pre-release or sealed event. If you got Obi-Wan, what rares or legendaries did you pair with it? What color did you go? I know if I see some of this setup here, if I'm going to go Obi-Wan, I'm going to be looking at a lot of these cards, but I'm really curious about what everyone else is going to do. Thanks so much for watching. Good luck to you at your future event as early as November 1st. If you're looking for more videos like these, make sure you like and subscribe and keep an eye out here on the channel as more of them are coming out, especially some other cards like starter deck upgrades. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you later, and may the Force be with you.